peace must be our goal, guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Viewers, good morning. This morning, I want to address the issue of Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy. The legacy of His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya keeps on moving, keeps on going forward and forward. Since the handshake in 2018 that brought about the peace, the tranquility, the unity of purpose, President Uhuru's star has been rising. All over Africa, people are thinking of using the model that Kenya used to stop any form of violence, chaos on the streets after elections. As you know, all of you are aware that elections in Africa produce two things: after or before or after the voting. Disputed elections, winner takes it all, loser doesn't accept the results. But the Kenyan model takes us miles and miles away from the normal type of democracy. The democracy, a negotiated format, a consensus format. A democracy that gives consensus a chance. A democracy that talks about the future of a country, the unity of a country, as opposed to a fragmented country, polarized country, where most African countries find themselves in. We have seen in the last 10 years or so, most of the elections in Africa have been contested by the opposition. Very few people in Africa, countries in Africa, where opposition has conceded defeat and come up to congratulate the winner. We have seen the South African model has worked very well. The Ghanaian model has worked so well. I don't see any other country in Africa where the models have worked well. I thought it would be Sierra Leone, but today we see Sierra Leone going back to the same ethnic tensions, as you can see from the reports that are circulating in the international media and the local media. So elections in Africa are contentious issues. They create a contentious position, create a departing point for the people of Africa, of that particular nation. The legacy of Uhuru Kenyatta, therefore, will be remembered for having brought the tranquility that we have today, the peace, the new format, the new tool of having a better organized civil Africa, an Africa without violence, an Africa without chaos after elections, when the opposition accepts to work for the interests of a nation, not personal interests. This has worked in Kenya, and thank you very much, Your Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, for the tenacity and the steadfastness that you have guided this handshake up to today. For those who want to mutilate the handshake belittle the handshake. One lesson they should learn is to look at Libya. Libya was once a territory we all respected. It is no more. Let's keep the handshake and the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Thank you.
Was there a judiciary coup to unseat the government in the aftermath of Kenya's 2017 election? Who was involved in this coup, and how deep did it run? Is Kenya's judiciary still at risk from these rogue agents? In the run-up to the August 2017 elections, the people of Kenya witnessed unusual judicial activity around the role and place of the Independent Electoral Commission. Numerous injunctions were filed by civil society and political parties trying to influence the election. These court cases involve significant matters, such as acquiring voting material down to inconsequential matters, such as the color used on the ballot papers. The effect this had was frustrating the Electoral Commission and almost delaying the whole election altogether. The motivation behind these delays and judicial interferences was simple: greed. The outcome was sinister: a constitutional crisis. And the beneficiaries undefined: cartels and power brokers. We'll begin our story on the 20th of September and work our way back to where the plot began and who was involved. September 20th, Supreme Court, Nairobi. Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu is reading a prepared statement to the court. Observers note that she is stumbling through the document, unsure of what she is reading.
An impregnable case on both limbs of the section, to wit, accurate, verifiable, accountable.
There is a reason for this. She did not prepare the document herself and has not taken time to familiarize herself with the text. Contrasted with her fellow judges, the scene becomes more suspicious. The truth is, the document she is reading was prepared for her by someone she has never met in Austria. It was delivered to her office the day before, and she has barely had a chance to read it. The author of this statement met with Chief Justice David Moraga in Vienna, Austria between the 2nd of September and the 10th of September. Why was the Chief Justice in Vienna for a week during the most crucial moment of Kenya's history? Only the day before, September 1st, the Supreme Court had nullified the election result and informed the public that the judges would be preparing their statements in the days to follow. Curiously, the Chief Justice's diary shows that he had traveled to meet a representative of the Open Society Foundation, a group with an unclear purpose but well-spread networks around the world. Why did Kenya's Chief Justice fly to meet Open Society representative Waikwa Noike after making that crucial decision? Why was the Deputy Chief Justice's statement prepared by a third party unknown to the public? By this stage, the coup had already developed and was in its final stage. All that was needed was for the public to unanimously accept the judge's statements and proceed to a second election, which was also to be nullified, as these confidential text messages reveal. The entire plot to nullify the election rested in 3 key places. Rosalind Akombe infiltrating and betraying the Electoral Commission from within, Supreme Court Register Esther Naikaki, who would receive evidence for the presidential petition and allow falsified and fake forms into evidence, and the biased judiciary, which was eyeing more funding from open society in return for judicial conformity with the Soros-led institution.
Viewers, good morning, Africa, wherever you are. We are looking at the rise from the ashes of the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya. For the last 2 years, since the nullification of elections of 2017, the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya has been on the headlines and in every newspaper worldwide, nationally, regionally, and Africa at large. The nullification of that election brought what we call a dual system of courage of justice.
That the presidential election held on 8th August 2017 was not conducted in accordance with the Constitution and the applicable law, rendering the declared results invalid, null, and void.
The justice that is demanded by civil society, international civil society, and the local civil societies, and the justice demanded by the interest of the nation. Given the two, which one do Kenyans want? Do they want the interest of the nation? In the interest of the nation, President Uhuru Kenyatta decided to go back to campaign in order to show the world that he was able, and he is able, and he was the winner. The campaigns took place, an election was reconducted. For the second time, Uhuru emerged the winner of that election. From then, the judiciary has never been a judiciary for the people of Kenya. It has been a judiciary commanded, supported, equipped logistically by either local NGOs or international NGOs that tell them on what to do, not to do. And above all, the situation of judicial officers themselves being activists. We have seen a number of judges acting like activists on the streets, making decisions that are not in the interest of the judiciary and not in the interest of the country at large. The release of terrorists or alleged terrorists from courts using the law, and then the terrorists return to kill many Kenyans, is one of the factors that has caught our eye. In Africa School of Thought, we believe that Chief Justice Maraga and his entire team, or Chief Justice Maraga, the Deputy Chief Justice, Madam Uhuru, have not done a service for this country. They have misused the powers conferred upon them by the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya to either do politicking or accuse the executive of being political or being a witch hunter against the judiciary. Time and time again, President Uhuru Kenyatta has pumped in money in the judiciary to raise the standards of the employees of the judiciary, to give the judges freedom and welfare that they are able to conduct their affairs without interference. Is it time now for the Kenyans to say, we have had enough of a bad judiciary? Is it time now for us to fight and for Africa to rise up? Because we see a lot of shrinkage of constitutionalism being done by the judges. If you look at what the judges in Malawi did, they did it in the morning, they reversed it in the afternoon, they ate it during dinner. Is this what Kenyans want? I leave it to you, Kenyans. Our hopes lie on the judicial service, the new judicial service system that has been put there. And hopefully, and only hopefully, that one day we shall rise from the ashes of corruption. Thank you.
In the fight against corruption, it has been demonstrated throughout the world that unless you sustain the war, and it is a war, remember that there are individuals, not only in Nigeria, but throughout the world, who suckle from the breasts of corruption. And they are not just about to win themselves off the suckling. They must be forced out of it, and they'll fight back. Because there are individuals, even in government, in all sectors of government, who now take their children to school on the basis of money corruptly acquired. They live in houses that are corruptly acquired. They do everything on the basis of things that are acquired through corruption. So when you want to stop it, they are going to kill you. They are going to ensure that you are neutralized. These are the people that you are fighting against, because these are individuals whose conscience is dead. And they are going to do anything on earth to prevent you. In fact, when one chooses to fight corruption, one must remember that he or she can't be eliminated at all times. And what President Buhari, and indeed any other president in the world, must do is to recruit the population. If the population has been wedded to the idea that corruption is a bad thing, then that is the beginning of the success of that battle. When I see, for example, your former Minister for Petroleum being investigated in the United Kingdom without being a sadist, I'm very happy. Because if you look at the wealth that he is alleged to have accumulated, that is unexplained wealth. Even if he lived for she lived for 1,000 years, she would never make that kind of money. James Seabury, who was prosecuted, convicted, and served sentence in the United Kingdom. What lacks in Africa is punishment. Impunity is alive and well in Africa. And we, the electorate, as I say, times without number, are in the business of celebrating thieves. We must stop. Yesterday, Barrister Farana said it very well, that we camouflage theft by giving them nice English names: money laundering, fraud, embezzlement, and all those veneers that make them look as if it is some kind of nice game. Let us call these men and women by the right name. They are thieves, stealing on an industrial scale. They are murderers. And once we begin to call them like that, and they have a mark of Cain upon their forehead, and we shun them, has it been done in African countries? Yes, it has been done. And I keep on repeating, in countries such as Tanzania, they are being dealt with. In Rwanda, they are being dealt with. In Mauritius, they are being dealt with. In Botswana, they are being dealt with. Once you begin to deal with them, then the others who may want to behave like them will begin to take the cue. We must, in the nature of things, earn what we earn through the sweat of our brow. That is the only way in which Africa will realize their potential. Many of these individuals who are in positions of leadership in Africa don't want to leave because they are thieves. And they are scared. They are scared that if they left office, they would be prosecuted. And my view is that they should be prosecuted. You know, individuals such as Hissène Habré, who we know what he did, was it in Chad, are a good example to the leadership that impunity will not thrive. Because I've been talking to a friend of mine from the Cameroons who tells me what is happening in their country right now. And other African countries are blind to it. It doesn't even occupy the headlines of the neighboring newspapers of the country's neighbors' newspapers. Yet the Cameroon now should be in the same position as we see the conflict in Catalan in Spain. Yet we are attacking it in page 13 in newspapers in Nigeria, in Lyberia, and other countries. The time has come that Africa must learn and realize that the world is not bothered about Africa. The world is only bothered about Africa when they want to take the resources of Africa. Then they bother. They want oil, they bother. And I'm using the word bother in a very deliberate fashion, not in the traditional orthodox fashion. They bother when they want to take our timber. They bother when they want to take our bauxite, when they want to take our coke, when they want to take our uranium. But they don't bother about us. They come to our continent without disrespecting the elephant, and they want to preserve the elephant so that they can come and watch the elephant, but they don't care if 100 Africans die. They want to preserve our monkeys. They want to preserve our leopards and our other animals, but they don't care about us. To them, Africa is a zoo of sorts. And until the day that we Africans realize that we are on our own, we are going nowhere. And very soon they are going to shut us out, if they have not shut us out already. We'll not go to the United States of America, we'll not go to Europe, and I'm happy that we are being forced to stay in Africa. Let us stay in Africa and build Africa. I mean, what does Africa lack in terms of resources? What do we lack? If it is solar energy, which continent is capable of producing solar energy to light this continent and the entire earth? If it is hydroelectricity, what can we not generate? If it is minerals, if we wanted to make bombs, if we should, where do they get their uranium from? If it is timber, what don't we have? If it is human resources, we are 2 billion of us, and we are people who have intelligence, and yet we are kept in a constant state of conflict. The Europeans, the French persuading their former colonies that they are more French than they are Yoruba. They are more French than they are Wolofs and Mandinkas. The British persuading us that we are more British than we are Ibibio or Yoruba. And of course, when we find ourselves in that schizophrenic state, then we engage in internal conflict and they sell their arms to us. Tell me, which African country makes guns? None. I think Africans must recognize that bad governance is harmful to their very well-being, not only for the current generation, but generations yet to be born. This is a continent that has always had potential. These are a people that have always had potential. But since we regained our independence from the colonialists, African leaders in many countries have consistently demonstrated that they are not working in the interest of their people. And that is sad, because many of the individuals who occupied positions of leadership are still beholden to the colonial masters. We see former French colonized nations, leaders who are beholden to Paris, those who are colonized by Portugal, beholden to Lisbon, those who are colonized by Belgium, beholden to Brussels, those colonized by the United Kingdom, beholden to London, and the single country that was colonized by Spain, Equatorial Guinea, beholden to Madrid. And this is tragic. Of course, currently, many African leaders are getting beholden to Beijing, and progressively the United States of America in Washington. The net effect is that the African agenda is being sacrificed to the detriment of the peoples. And we have examples which are live as I speak. The problems in the Cameroon, the problems in Togo, the problems in South Sudan, the problem in Central African Republic, in Mali, in Mauritania. And these are sad things. And the tragic thing is that the African Union appears to be helpless in this situation. Africa has been victimized by systems of government which we do not understand and which are not serving us well. And the time is now to wake up and to begin to find African solutions to African problems. Is it doable? Yes, it is. But we must wake up from our slumber, because those who are in positions of leadership are quite comfortable with the situation as it is. We must have something in the nature of an Arab Spring. The Arab streets woke up and they told their leaders, you are going to do that which is in our best interest. Unfortunately, some of the gains made after the Arab Spring have been clawed back. And that is a lesson for us, that if you regain your independence, you must remain eternally vigilant, because the forces of reaction are very persistent. You know what is amazing about the African Union, which is the immediate success of the OAU, is that it's beginning to let Africa down. I was amazed about a month ago when Zimbabwean president, whom I respected in his early days as a freedom fighter and as a man of vision and intellect, when he went to the African Union and made a donation of $1 million, and the African Union accepted it, in a situation where the people in Zimbabwe are suffering, where there is almost 80 to 90% unemployment. And the reason why the African Union has become, as you rightly say, a toothless bulldog is because there are no leaders who are true crusaders for the agenda of the African Union in the manner that we had in the early days, when we had Nkrumah, when we had Nyerere, when we had Haile Selassie, when we had Gamal Abdel Nasser. Today, in a very perverted concept of non-interference in the affairs of other nations, and in a perverted understanding of the idea of sovereignty, people are not their brothers and sisters' keepers, so that we know that there is a festering wound in South Sudan, and we are doing nothing about it. We know there is a festering wound in the Cameroons, and we are doing nothing about it. A festering wound in Togo, and we are doing nothing about it. And even when the leaders congregate in Addis Ababa for their annual jamboree, they don't discuss these problems. Right now, I would have thought that there should be an extraordinary session of the African Union to discuss a number of things, to discuss the countries which are in trouble, and I'm mentioning them ad nauseum, to ask the question, what is the problem in the Central African Republic? How can it be resolved? What is the problem in Togo, in Gambia, in the Cameroons, and in many other countries, so that we have African solutions to African problems? Because what we'll see very shortly is that the UN will sit down and send a peacekeeping force. And when there is no peace to be kept, and they send peacekeeping forces, when, in a manner of speaking, the horse will have bolted away. So the African...
Good morning, wherever you're watching us from. Thank you so much for joining us. You're tuned into Punchline Africa TV. The program is Good Morning Africa, coming to you live from Kenya's capital right here in Nairobi and London. As always, of course, normally the Good Morning Africa show looks into the newspaper review, the stories that are making headlines not only in Kenya but across the continent of Africa and, of course, in the entire world. In studio with me is Dr. David Masanga. He's the founder, chairperson, Punchline Africa TV, a conflict resolution expert. He's also, of course, the co-host of this program, is going to help me to go through some of the topics we'll be handling this morning, including our major topic of discussion this morning, that is violence and root causes in elections in Kenya. That is what we are dealing with this morning, and we would like to get your views, your perspectives about this. Do you suppose what are the things that are actually causing violence, this kind of chaos that we continue to witness in every election in Kenya, be it a by-election, be it a general election? We've seen people actually engage in chaos, sometimes even leading to deaths or loss of life for that matter. What do you suppose is the cause of this violence, and what is it that we can do as a country to bring this to an end? That is what we seek to get from you this morning, and more so Dr. Masanga is in studio with me. Good morning, Dr. Ari.
Good morning, Tawish. Good morning, viewers, wherever you are in Africa. You have just seen parts of the conference where President Uhuru Kenyatta was opening the summit of population together with on women, gentle mutilation, against gentle mutilation of women in the world. We have delegates in Nairobi gathered here to discuss that, what can women do? What can we do for our women to bring back sanity in the sector for development, empower them so that genital mutilation, is something that is very, very bad. It's an awkward old method that was used in many tribes, many ethnic enclaves. People use it to mutilate, to bring about suffering against the women. So women and the entire world is gathered in Nairobi today, and that conference is taking place. About 6 presidents are around here, including President Museveni of Uganda and other people who are in this country looking at what can be done. President Uhuru Kenyatta has just opened that conference. Our main topic today, without going into this, let's tackle it straight. The root causes of violence in the Kenyan elections. Everywhere this morning, when I wrote the legacy this morning. Yeah. Everybody picked it from there. Every television station went on the same, the root causes, violence in elections. Why are people not arresting the culprits? Why is the violence there? Without going to the newspapers, because they won't help us. Kenyans read the newspapers. We shall only look at the newspapers. But we want to come back and ask our question, one serious question. Do we learn from the past? Has Kenya ever learned from the past? Have we changed our mindsets? Do Kenyans change the mindsets? Do you remember Justice Hans Kriegler telling you what? Why do we become lizards that run underwater when it is raining? Why can't we speak the truth? Justice Hans Kriegler told us, he said, don't allow an electoral body to be in place 2 years before elections. Don't tell people lies in Kenya. It annoys me when someone lies, and yet you who is suffering, telling them you are doing it voluntarily. People are telling people lies in Kenya. Just Kriegler told you, please put an electoral commission 2 years in advance to watch out these problems. These problems in Kibra and the Rwanda constituency are a result of bad electoral commission. Because the acts are committed under the electoral law. The Electoral Commission has not come out to disqualify any candidate like any football. If your hooligans beat another team, your football match is cancelled. You are banned. You are banned. You are fined. You are fined. We want to see an electoral commission that can fine hooligans in elections. We want to see an electoral commission that interprets the law equally. The Kenyan Electoral Commission is the root cause of all the problems that Kenya has had since 1992. Go under research. If they don't put it in order, don't waste time telling us about your elections. Don't waste time calling for international community to help you. Just prepare yourselves to go to where the law will be, whether here or internationally.
Yeah.
Be prepared. Don't waste time. I'm talking to you as a Kenyan.
Yeah.
I'm not a voter here. I'm not a Kenyan. But I'm saying electoral commissions in Africa, not only in Kenya, even in Uganda. The biggest problem in Uganda, Museveni is here in Nairobi. The biggest problem in Uganda is the electoral commission of the Uganda people. It confuses the electorate. Not that Museveni steals the votes, and I've said it openly. He doesn't steal the votes. But the electoral commission confuses even the voters, that there is a confusion that it clouds the whole thing, that they don't deliver even electoral material 5 kilometers away from the headquarters of an election, of the body. Headquarters in 5 kilometers away. Up to today, from 2016, those materials never arrived. So, what is the mess in Kenya's elections in Africa? The mess in elections in Africa is simple. Electoral commissions. South African Electoral Commission is bulletproof, sealed. You see how they deliver the election? Is there any fight in South Africa because of election? No. 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 You can die because you are standing on the queue for a long time and dehydrated, then collapse. But you are not dying because a stone has come from somebody. You see? I am doing, you see, when you see a man like Abdulaziz Peacock, look at the mindset we have. As if the refugees don't run to Uganda when elections are violent. Is that a wish?
They do, in fact.
He's saying, I'm lecturing to Kenyans. Yes, because you fight, you kill each other during elections. Are you not ashamed even to write such a comment? Mm-hmm. You kill each other every day. I've not said Uganda elections are peaceful either. Mm-hmm. Uganda elections are not peaceful at all. But because of electoral commission that brings about violence, that's what I'm condemning.
Sure.
And so please, don't misunderstand your stupidity and bring it on this wall. Watch and listen to what we are saying. We are not saying there's no violence in Uganda elections. There are. We are not saying there's no violence in Nigerian elections. There are. But what are the root causes? Electoral commissions all over Africa. Nigerian Electoral Commission cancelled elections 2 hours before the polling stations could begin. Did you expect a free and a fair election?
Not at all.
Thank you.
Very well, Dr. Masanga. I think you've already set the tone for discussion this morning, and that is why we invite your views, of course, through our social media platforms. Facebook is Punchline Africa TV, Instagram Punchline Africa, Twitter is Punchline Africa. Also, you can call us directly. We have our hotline number in studio, +25 4795 638 145. Tell us what you think, and also you can tweet us directly at TawishM, at Masanga Doctor, and be rest assured we'll be going through your views as we continue the program. And let me just go through one comment here by the viewer who goes by the name Richard Jada, who says, I think instead of dwelling in the past historical events, why can't we come up with positive programs that can address those issues? Just trying to combine this with that other viewer who sent, of course, that comment talking about Dr. Masanga being not being a Kenyan and commenting on Kenyan matters. I think we need to look into, for example, what Martin Luther King once said, that we need to judge people not really by the skin, the color of their skin, or where they come from, their religion, but at least the content of what they speak, the content of their character. It is important for Kenyans, and not only actually Kenyans, for for our people in the region to appreciate that you look into what exactly is the discussion about. What is it that is coming out of the mouth of this individual, other than just condemning someone simply because they are not Kenyan, or they did not belong to your tribe, or did not subscribe to what you perceive is right politically, that is. So unfortunately, I think that is where we find ourselves as a country. We are comfortable today, Dr. Masanga. People do not want to speak about this journey towards elections in 2022, how we can ensure that violence and chaos that characterizes every other election 5 years comes to a dead end. People now are just comfortable, they're relaxing and waiting until when we are actually about to have this election, or when we are having this election, that's when they will start talking about it. And you've given, you've revisited what Hans Kriegler once said, that you cannot constitute an electoral body or the commissioners to put into place 2 years to an election and still expect that election to be foolproof, expect it to be credible, fair, and free. I think in essence, Kriegler had an opportunity to go through, of course, to interview Kenyans, get their views about what is it that we can do as a country to ensure that we do not go through, for example, what this country went through in 2007 to 8 post-poll skirmishes. But again, today, Kenyans are relaxed. The same thing we experienced even in 2013, 2017, in terms of not having these electoral bodies in place in time, is the same thing we are actually grappling with today. Instead of us facing it head on and seeing how we can remedy it by ensuring we have new faces, we have new individuals, a working commission in place, at least not 2 years to election, we adjust but relax. When it gets to an election, we'll be blaming ourselves for the violence and all those kinds of things. But again, I understand there are a combination of factors that actually bring forth violence and chaos in elections, especially here in Kenya, including, for example, voter bribery, the feeling that, that entitlement, that it's about you who must win an election. So if it is not about you, then that is also another problem. So we have to think about how we are going to tune our mindset, how we are going to actually acknowledge the fact that election is not about me winning and another person actually losing. It can't be you winning or any other person winning at any given time. It's not necessarily about you. It should not be a matter of entitlement. It shouldn't be a matter of life and death. I think that is what we are seeing in this country today. People go out there, do voter bribery, buy people to go and actually vote in their favor. When they fail, you can see the kind of anger that comes out, Dr. Masanga. Such kind of things continue brewing over time in the run-up to 2022 elections.
Look at what has happened in Kenyan newspapers.
Yeah.
Now you can go.
Yeah.
Start with the Standard.
The front page of the Standard, women MPs in nasty fights over Ruto and Raila. On the front page, of course, you have the Inua Mama and Team Embrace. Apparently, the Inua Mama is a team that supports Deputy President William Ruto's presidential bid ahead of 2022. And then we have Team Embrace, which apparently acknowledges the handshake between President Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and the need for unity in the country. So there's actually infight and insults. You can see the kind of words that the women are also using in the country.
Let's come here.
Yeah.
Women MPs from Inua Mama.
Yes.
After the Kibra incident, they went to Eldoret.
Yeah.
Land people with PhDs, lawyers like Mrs. Chole,
Yeah.
a lawyer of the highest with children, grown-ups. Alice Wahome,
She's equally a lawyer.
A lawyer, a very good lawyer, who knows law very well.
Yeah.
You see, I can forgive the other goons. I'm not interested in this woman who should have been a matatu conductor of Lyberia. That one I don't want to know, because I don't know whether she's even educated or not. But people, lawyers, serious lawyers, like Madame Alice Wahome, Madame Cholet, a respectable woman of my friend Cholet, people who have gone to school, who have studied law, to speak the way they were speaking. I have no reservation for telling the truth. Equally, I have been watching the Embrace group does not howl insults. The woman of Narok, your place, the woman rape.
So
I never expected her to. You see, these are the people. We are sharing a plane to go to Hague to remove our people, to remove Ruto from Hague. We were sharing a plane all the time with these guys. And I'm shocked that they can stand now, begin this type of war. When a chief prosecutor is on the loose, Kenyans, I'm telling you, the chief prosecutor Fatou Bensouda is on the loose. He's gonna lose someone. And don't blame me, don't call me, because I'm not going to be there. I will not be there this time. I'm telling you people, Kenyans, watch this type of language. Some people have gone to the social media and they are cutting, cleansing. Another stupid man called Pombe Magufuli from the Tanga group is showing elders from Kalenjin community cutting a goat, cleansing. These are the things the chief prosecutor was saying in court. You are now affirming to the chief prosecutor who is on the loose. The woman is ending a legacy without a person going in jail. And you are coming here with educated lawyers, changing the colors of their hair every morning, going around the country to create chaos. Kenyatta is watching. President Kenyatta is watching. You watch. But this time, I'm telling you, some of us are also fed up. Umesikia?
Yes.
Nowhere. We are fed up. Sort it yourselves next time. Because look at this. This one says, you have no baby, you have a baby. Now why don't you nurse the baby? Whose baby is they keep your woman talking about? Who impregnated you? Why don't you also say who impregnated you? Whom you have been sleeping around with? Say it. If you have gone in public to tell people about the pregnancy of another woman, also say who impregnated you. And how many men do you also go about with? Men. This type of language should get out. And there are children here. There are children on daytime TV watching mothers, people who have children grown up.
They even have in-laws, some of them.
They have in-laws. I don't know whether Wahome has a child. I don't know. You know, some women talk because they have a problem. I don't know. Because me, I cannot talk these things when my children are watching. At least I keep quiet. I can't use a vulgar language of this nature. Please. This is something that every Kenyan must condemn. Every African who listens to this garbage must condemn. And the leaders of these groups, so-called groups, where they came from, must stand up, tell these women, we need your support, but sorry, time has come for Kenyans, walk away from such a rally.
But again, Dr. Masa, what is actually leading us into this confusion that we are seeing? Because apparently we are seeing our women in the country today divided right in the middle. Some supporting the deputy president, while others are supporting President Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. I mean, necessarily because of the handshake and the BBI, and it's nothing really, according to them, it has nothing to do with politics. But there are women who insist that it's a matter of life and death for Deputy President William Ruto to become president in 2022. And I think that is the agenda that they have set. That is what they are working on every other day in all these rallies.
Who among these women is God who has stopped Ruto from going to be a president? Who? Can we think outside the box? Who among these people can stop Ruto from being a president? Who among these people can put Ruto as a president? Who among them? Where is the power of putting a president in time? Is the party. The party has not sat down to declare the candidate. You cannot threaten the rest of candidates. Jubilee has a party. Why are you threatening us? Why are Jubilee members being threatened? The party must sit down and choose a candidate.
Yeah.
It might not choose Ruto. Hello? Have you seen that? We are talking of a party with democracy.
Could it be the fear that has engulfed these women, the team embrace?
Yes, why you run? You are, okay, what about if the party does not choose Ruto? What will you do? What color will you wear? Let's think out of the box. What color will you wear if he's not on the ballot?
Yeah.
If he's not, let's speak the truth.
Yes.
Why do you go to talk vulgar? What about if your candidate is not on the box? Where will you go? Have parties given us candidates?
They have not.
Has election? That's why I told you at the beginning, Mr. Tawish, the whole thing goes back to the electoral
commission.
Electoral mechanism.
Electoral mechanism.
There is no independent electoral commission. This is a silly electoral commission. Very silly. IEBC is stupid. It should have arrested all these people. It should have nullified this election. Shut up. Nullify it. Show to Kenyans once for once that you are electoral commission. You go and throw stones. The candidate whose people were throwing stones disqualified. Bribery took place. Money changed hands. People were crying over money being dished out. Notify the candidates. Electoral Commission Chebukati, useless. Speak it out, man. You are a younger Kenyan. When are you going to speak? When are you going to speak? Then you will have television here like, hey, someone, I saw someone also pretending to be an analyst on any TV. Hey, just go and do your ambi. Don't come here to tell lies. Speak out. Electoral Commission should have nullified the Kibura elections. The whole of it.
How about the Ganda one?
That one would have gone. The woman who went to shoot people, who ordered the shoot, she's still very tall, 6 feet high. She needs extra bed to sleep on. Now still telling people, threatening people in Eldoret. Because she's covered by the deputy president. Nullify this election. Kwisha, you cannot beat someone, take his kofia, this property and wear it. And you go around with his property wearing it. No.
It is unacceptable.
No. You have, no, enough is enough. You know, these people did not know the feeling of us being on a plane going to defend Uhuru Kenyatta and defend William Ruto in the very dangerous court. They don't know. Some of them were the engineers of these same heinous crimes against the two. And today, they are, I am telling you, it annoys me. Who lost everything? Who was not paid to do it? Was I paid? Who has paid me? Who has given me a thanks? Ruto gives money to the same people who wanted to kill him. Ruto pays courier who bought witnesses to fix him. Listens to courier for lies. But me, a Ugandan stupid man used. And now they are starting violence again. Have you seen that? And the same people, you beat someone, you take his hat, you take his shirt and wear it. You wear it. You should be in jail.
And display openly.
No.
That is the tragedy you talked about last time. The tragedy
I
of
told
an
you,
African being in Africa.
the tragedy of Africa, of being an African. Didn't I tell you?
You did.
I wish I was born somewhere.
And we are treating all this as though everything is normal.
No.
Yeah, that is what it is.
No. We cannot accept this. Look, I accept handshake.
Yeah.
I am the only one Ugandan who said redemption strategy. Some people never liked me on their TV stations. Ruto chased me out of his television station K24 because I was talking of redemption strategy. He didn't know the meaning. Yet I'm trying to save him. Now, this I cannot be a party. You cannot beat someone, then wear his hat, then go and display it. You should be arrested. That's it.
Arrested of being in possession of stolen property.
If you have beaten him, fine. But you can't beat him, then wear his property and display it. You have actually, you are now telling the public, we did it.
Yeah.
That type of violence took us to Hague. That type of violence brought here Ocampo. That type of violence, you see another picture which is running on social media in Cherengai constituency, where Kutuni comes from.
Yes.
Some men, half naked, cutting a goat, cleansing. Isn't that what the chief prosecutor said?
Indeed, it's...
Isn't that Ruto, isn't that what the chief prosecutor said? Deputy President, you are watching the events in your background. Have you seen what is going on there? Isn't that what this woman was going to fix you for? Are you not seeing the signs? Can't you stop this type of thing? Then maybe for us, our small television stations will close.
Yeah.
We finish. We are about to finish.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Tawish, this is what a Ugandan could call katogo. It's a very bad mixture.
Yeah.
Because people don't learn from what happened. If somebody is being sentenced for 30 years and you have come out of that, you cannot allow a person to do any violent action in front of you.
Do you suppose, Dr. Masanga, as Kenyans, we haven't quite learned any lessons from the
No,
past?
we haven't.
Looking at the killings in 2007.
Listen, our deputy president goes to the platform where these people throw mud. Raila sits in a platform where these people throw mud. Why don't they stop them?
And they cannot condemn.
Why? Why don't you stop them? Why doesn't Raila stand up and say, no? Have these people seen violence before? Some of us are here because violence, half of our independence was full of violence. 34 years, Uganda spent 27 years out of 59
Yes.
in the battlefield. I'm telling you, from Obote 1, 1966, Idi Amin, 79, 80, 82, 85, we have been fighting until 2005. We Ugandans sat down and finished this mess. There is peace now. So why do you waste time? Leaders watch a man wearing another man's hat, whom he has beaten last night, surely.
Despicable to say that.
Let's be balanced. And if you want to enjoy the real truth, always tune in this television.
Sure.
We say it as it is. If you hate us, your problem.
You know, I was reading one of your articles this morning, and there's one of the people who actually made a comment there saying that the article wasn't quite balanced. Whilst when I went through it and read almost every other paragraph, you started by condemning the violence, those who are perpetrating it, those who are allowing it to happen, and all those kinds of things, to the voter bribery and such kind of things. So I did not see how. And
I came back to ODM.
Yeah, that is
I called it Jubilee.
Yes.
And I came back to ODM. I said, Mire Odiambo, how words of reply are not also helping. They don't help us. They don't help Kenyans.
They should be calculated in a way.
Calculative.
Yeah.
So a leader, you are standing there, you are sitting. Tell the get off the podium. You saw what Alandwa was saying.
Yeah, George Alandwa. Yeah.
George Alandwa was threatening President Uhuru Kenyatta that if they don't want handshake, about time. So this is the man who said, and remember these words, he said, this time if they steal our vote, what shall we do in Kenya? You remember what Aranda said?
Is it ban Kenya or something?
Yes. To Nasis, we shall kill.
Yeah.
Recently, you saw the Senator of Kericho said they are experts in killing. The chief prosecutor is watching. This woman is leaving. She wants to leave a legacy. You still have a case there, not finished. And you still take part in this. Tell me how you will be on the ballot.
And still we continue to cheer them.
How you... Now, I'm telling the truth. Me, I'll just snatch the microphone from you. Because these questions will be asked. When this was said, this was a member of your inner cabinet. What did you say? What will you say? Interpretation of Swahili. This is exactly the mess we did there. Trying to bring another guy called Karim to change theatrics. And Matanga making noise. You people have forgotten. We had to make noise to get off this hawk. Now we are going back that route. Wallahi Mungu, we are going back that route. Let the president come out to stamp out authority completely, whether Raila side, whether which side, let them just silence. No political rallies anymore. That just say it. The president has the power to invoke. He can invoke.
Yeah.
And say presidential, any type of rally are not for some time, for 6 to 7 to 1 year. Concentrate on development. His Excellency President, you have those powers to use presidential decree. Yeah. And say political activities that of hammering each other on platform. You can have political activities of seeing how development is taking place in your constituency, but hammering each other on platform should stop. Should stop. These women should stop. They should stop completely. Whoever is giving them money must be very, very careful. that this is the area we are going. Alice Wahome and Mama Shole, my good, I like that lady. I told you, she's used to speak so well. She has changed.
But you equally used to like Aisha Juma.
Aisha Juma. Not Aisha Juma.
I remember. The coastal Gladys Wanga.
Wanga.
Yes.
She doesn't insult people.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Gladys Wanga does not insult people. And I tell that I have not seen her insult people.
She weighs her words. Yeah.
She weighs her words maturely. I've seen, if you look at Elachi does not insult people.
She doesn't.
She weighs her words. The foul language comes from Alice Wahome. The hatred she has for Raila Odinga, I don't know.
And in reply from Millie Odhiambo.
And a reply from another one. Millie Odhiambo, for me, I have never liked her. She knows.
Yeah.
She knows. There is a time we flew with her all the way from Nairobi up to The Hague, up to Schiphol Airport, but we never talked. But we were on the same seat. And I regretted if there was extra seat, I would have moved.
You need to dialogue.
I wanted to dialogue.
You need to dialogue.
But it could not come because of the ICC case. When she saw me, she said, I'm now going to defend the criminal. That's what she said. I'm going to defend criminals.
Okay. There's one viewer here who goes by the name, actually is our ardent supporter, our viewer rather, who goes by the name John Clark, says, Doctor, the victim did not go and report at the police station. And Babu Owino also warned that if the winner will not be ODM, nobody was to leave Kibra. So those are the kind of, headline position that I was telling you, which actually continue to threaten and actually give a recipe to chaos and violence as far as elections are concerned. Because when you have individuals or a political party that is participating in an election or any contest comes out and says it must be their candidate, it must be their party. If not, then that is not results. They are not going to accept it. And I think this is right. I clearly heard Babu Owino Embakasi, East MP, coming out and saying it is ODMs to lose in Kibra. If they don't win, then nobody will leave Kibra. What kind of messages are we sending out to the supporters?
What kind of message do we send to supporters?
Yes.
When we call them in current official residence and you give them handouts? Yeah.
That maybe election is about money.
Yes.
That's the message. Yeah.
What kind of message is it that you deliver handouts? People on Thursday, on Wednesday, before the polling on Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah.
You could not pass Langata Road, where Western Hotel is, as if there was a funeral. Hundreds of people.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it was a strategy meeting by the agents.
Okay.
The agents for Kibra by election.
Then after you have met, and what do? You go home hungry. So these are electoral malpractices that bring violence. Therefore, my point this morning, that's why I brought this violence and the root causes in elections in Kenya, is to find out where this violence comes from. My answer and the solution is scrap Chebukati. Remove Chebukati now. 2 years before elections, get him out. Pay him to go home. There's no difference between Chebukati and Amaraga. If you leave them in the system, it is spoiled.
Dr. Masanga, is it not going to become like a tradition for us to, for example, reprimand and rebuke these commissions and commissioners after elections?
I've told you.
Yeah.
I am a very good I stick to my point.
Yes.
That's why Museveni cannot talk to me anymore. Because he cheated me, I never cheated him.
Yeah.
He can come, enjoy, go, no problem. Brother, no problem.
Yeah.
But I delivered, and I will never go back to violence.
Yeah.
Never. And I hate violence. Let it be heard I hate it. But if you have an electoral commission headed by this a gang of three, and they leave an election of Kibrat standing, that it was well done, no. Such an election could have been nullified. Because there was a voter bribery. That one you know.
Yes.
At 11 a.m., the queues in the area where there was huge voter bribery dried out. The people have changed to say they were intimidated not to come out. But in the actual sense, people ate the money. The MPs came and said, thank you very much for eating the money. So they know where the money was and who was bribing who. Therefore, Electoral Commission should come in. You can't blame police. Mm-hmm. Police cannot go to your bedroom and look for money which has been bribed by people. People who have bribed money in Kibra should now come out and tell the police who gave them the money. Then the police can arrest the man who was bribing.
Sure.
Mindset.
That is it.
Change it. Mm-hmm. Krigler told you Hans Krigler is still alive. He's going to witness another one, 2022, is still alive in South Africa. He told you, Kenya, should you ever hold an election again of this nature, and should you ever come out with an impromptu electoral commission to substitute an electoral body to conduct an election like what you did in 2007 and 2008, it will burn worse. Mm-hmm. Today, we have had 3 commissioners chasing everybody. You remember Chebukata has chased everyone. Yeah. And he's the only one left there to manipulate elections. And we are busy talking about 2022. Where is it? Show me where is it. Do you see it there? If this is now, what about when the official time is declared? Shall we have the roads passed?
Dr. There's one thing I've really wanted you to comment on, and I think it just regards to the changing of commissioners in the IEBC, because I remember with how we hounded out of office the late Kivuitu, and then we had the likes of course, Hassan, who left office, of course, because CORD was then protesting against Isaac Hassan. We had, of course, now Chebukati come into place and his commissioners. Still Kenyans want equally Chebukati to leave office. They did not have confidence with him. Now, moving forward, are we going to, should we then just change the way we for example, appoint the electoral commissioner, so that we say they only but have elections or conduct elections in maybe once in every 5 years, then we get new commissioners? Because as it is now, we may get other commissioners, yes, but the kind of confidence that Kenyans have in the Electoral Commission itself, because that is what has to be revisited. That is what has to be relooked into. Kenyans seem to have lost confidence in the electoral body moving to 2022. And you're right by saying we need to change and ensure that we do an overhaul of the entire commission and the commissioners. Yes. The question is, what will be the best or viable way to have these new commissioners come into place that is going to win the trust and confidence of all Kenyans?
The BBI should touch that. And I hope if it, I've told you, Tawish, yes, if BBI does not address the Electoral Commission, electoral malpractices and yes, electoral violence, stop electoral violence, if that report comes out half naked, I will not support it. Because it would be wasting time.
Is there a likelihood that they're not they're not going to touch on this?
I don't know, because changing electoral commission is not a fundamental springboard of the constitution.
Yeah.
Changing how you want your commission, you don't touch the main body. The commission remains there, but you can change how you constitute it.
Yes.
through parliament. You can change it. Yeah. You can change it through national discussion. Yes, without going for referendum.
Are you of the view, Dr. Masanga, that there's infiltration in the commission by, say, for example, political players? Because again, when I look into the Chebukati-led IEBC as it is today, I mean, this entire team was actually vetted by the National Assembly. They were appointed by the president.
What did Akombe tell you?
She did allude to that fact that there's infiltration by political players and maybe external forces.
What external forces? Yes. What did Akombe, the woman who stole all our secrets and disappeared with them? Mm-hmm. What did she say?
The external forces.
Yeah. So who is Chebukati working for? Whom does Chebukati meet in Hemingways and Karen and these places? Look at his movement, telephone, and here and there. Go and look at it. Where does he meet? Whom does he sit with? Whom is he talking to? How do you balance it? You change the commission, change the electoral systems of Kenya.
Yeah.
Have a South African model of an electoral commission. India has only 3 electoral commissioners. Am I wrong?
You're right. But is it the number to blame?
India has the 3 electoral commissioners. What's the population of India?
I'm not sure of the exact number, but it's more than Kenya. It's
almost 1 billion,
almost
1.8 billion.
It's almost the rest of Africa.
No, it is more than the rest of Africa.
Yeah.
The population of India. How many commissioners are on the electoral commission? 3. And they deliver results without any hassle. Why? Systems, institutions, structures. Changing the structures of your election.
Yeah.
India votes for 3 months. Why does Kenya hurry to vote? Our ballot paper is going to dry?
Maybe because of the numbers.
Wait! Let's go! Let's go. Let's talk about this, my son.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Why does Kenya hurry to vote? In one day, 5 hours, 6 people, 200, almost 50 candidates on a ballot paper. You have to tick. Why do you hurry? Why don't you stagger? Isn't it the root cause?
Is it something also, I suppose, we have to give a consideration?
Have you seen it?
The question of staggering elections, yeah.
Have you seen where the violence comes from?
Yeah.
Why are people hyper? Why do people go to the polling stations when nerves are high? Time is running. You paid your money. Mm-hmm. Time is coming. That is why the violence in Kibera took place. Yes. Harwale saw at 11, there was nobody on the queue.
The numbers are not adding up.
Yeah, the numbers are not adding up. The agents were sending signals that be to be on the ground, being to be changed on the ground. I'm now, so for my viewers listening, I've gone to my grammar, my natural mother tongue. Bindu byakengire ho ground yichagangu. These were telephone conversations.
Things have changed on the ground. Come first.
Yes, you interpret for them. Things have changed on the ground. You come. Then these guys, my lawyer men, found themselves in a zone where the polling stations, the polling officers were yawning for people to come to vote.
Yes.
The people calling them for an SOS. SOS. Those who have done military know what an SOS is. I am in dire need. Come. Bintu bya changire ho ground. Look at that. Then, as usual, the bullfighter thought that he can go and play about the way he's playing about. We shall talk on that. playing about. He runs to the ground for rescue, only to find men who had taken his money last night. And those who had that money was given, very hostile. And truly, in Luya culture, the man should have just walked back in his car and gone. We are not violent people. You don't need to carry stones. We are not associated with violence. We are associated with eating. We eat very well. When you hear you go for a visit and you hear there is chicken being cooked, a Luya will sit to wait.
You grow your appetite.
I come from the Luya community. I'm a Luya myself. I will sit to test that soup, that kitchen.
Chicken.
Not the kitchen. You first smell the kitchen, then eat the chicken.
The sweet aroma.
Yeah. So these are problems of the Electoral Commission. Let's take a break. When we come back, we want to see another story of violence in Kenya. Cattle rustlers paradise. A child, a woman at the age of 7 has got an AK or MG, MSG, machine gun, carrying it, herding animals. Tawish, you are from Masai land.
Yes.
I'm very happy that you avoided this culture. There's no more. When we grew up, the Masai were known for these running battles.
Yes.
I want to thank the Masai people for, in the name of God, for having changed the mindset. Today, Masai and Narok, Kajiado, Samburu, Mara, peace, growing crops, doing business. Things have changed. Because when we were in primary schools in the 60s, we were taught about the Maasai cattle, some rustling was associated. Now it has come back to the Turkana and the West Pokot. There's the men, a girl is holding a gun. This is serious.
Actually, they've been doing it. They've just refused to let go.
So now,
that's the problem.
I just want to take a few minutes. When I come back, I want to praise President Museveni for doing one good thing for my country. And those who don't want to hear, you can either shut your eyes, or those who want to hear, just listen. He's here, he's in his bedroom or his hotel. He can hear, or he will be shown this. I want to say something he has done very well as far as this menace of guns is concerned. Let's take a break. I want to call upon the people of Ambazonia today, wherever you are in the diaspora in Ambazonia itself, that in a struggle you are bound to have divisions. But divisions should not divert you from the main focus, the main challenge. We have struggled to expose the happenings, the human rights abuses in Ambazonia. The army has killed hundreds and hundreds of thousands, burnt houses of people, internet was cut off, schools were closed, dispensaries, hospitals were burnt down. Ambazonians should not be intimidated by Paul Robia. It is not upon the leaders of Ambazonia, because I am not from Ambazonia, but I've played a pivotal role in making sure that I loud out the voices, I put out the call, I call upon AU, EU, United Nations, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International. Many of them have listened to some of the things that I say here, and they have come at last. America, United States of America, is slowly moving towards giving the Ambazonian people the dignity they deserve. I therefore call upon the leaders and the leadership of the Ambazonian people to unite for a purpose. The unity of purpose is paramount as opposed to disunity, which has nothing but only produces ego that we have seen in South Sudan. What has killed South Sudan is not because they don't have the money, the minerals, the resources. Is ego between Riek Machar and the Salva Kiir. We would not like to see that ego come to the people of Ambazonia, the leadership of Ambazonia. I call upon Samuel Sako, Akanga, Milan, and Eko to unite and talk with one voice on international scene that will bring about the peace, the tranquility that you yearn for since 1961, when the resolution 1608 was abandoned by the United Nations General Assembly and Ambazonia was annexed by the Cameroon government by then. I call upon you, my brothers, to pick up the unity call and free your people without disintegration. Thank you.
You're watching Good Morning Africa, coming to you live from Nairobi. Indeed, we are discussing this very critical topic about violence in Kenya's election every electioneering year, or even during any other election in the country. What is it we can do as a country? What is it we can do as a people? Is it about changing the IEBC commissioners? Is it about a total overhaul? Is it about changing our mindset? Because again, the violence and chaos has become the order of the day in every election in Kenya today. We've seen the by-elections in Ganda Ward in Kilifi County. We've seen the by-election in Nairobi's county, that is in Kibra, they just concluded on the 7th of November. So many people actually went into fist fight, which is something that we continue to condemn as a station that is Punchline Africa TV. But again, what is it that Kenyans can do? Do we need to come together and think of really how we can change or overhaul the entire IEBC so that we can have confidence and trust in it? Because all these things happening when IEBC is just watching confidently without doing anything really leaves a lot to be decided. And those are some of the things of food for thought for most of us who are actually advocating for peace and harmony and unity in this country. We're now coming back for the second and last part of this show, and we want to look into another thing which is almost similar, but this time around is more of cattle rustling, which has become also the order of the day in the parts of. There's a way normally Dr. Masanga puts it. How is it what axis? How do we call it? The axis where we normally witness the cattle rustling. Is it the western axis or
no, the Capedo Triangle?
The Capedo Triangle. That is how Dr. Masanga.
There is a valley.
Yeah.
There is some. Is called the Capedo Triangle, and then the Suguta Valley.
Suguta Valley.
This is. I just want to take this opportunity, Tawish.
Yes.
Still a few minutes, 2 minutes of your time.
Yeah.
I just want to thank President Yoweri Gakuta Museveni of Uganda for doing one thing, for removing this type of stupidity in our country.
Yes.
For making sure Karamoja, the Karamojongs, will surrender their guns. You see the guns, those who look at a younger girl holding, this newspaper should be brought, holding an SMG, small machine gun, loaded with bullets, ready to kill. I don't know, the picture should be brought so that you can see. It's here with her animals. This culture in our country, think you can see now, wherever you were outside, this culture in Uganda is no more. And I want to take this opportunity to thank Yoweri Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, for removing this menace. This type of menace had eaten a lot of our country. This type of menace had made Karamoja a place where people go and get money for relief, but they don't deliver food. Today in Uganda, in Karamoja, the Karamojongs grow every type of coffee, boreholes, dams, smaller dams for their animals, boreholes, business, the economy is thriving. Gold mining, panning is taking place. No guns. Animals are still the property of Karamojongs. If you cross over across Kenya and you come to Turkana and the West Pokot, there is more or less of a war zone. There you are. Is that a picture that you can think and say we are all right? A girl of 10 years holding an AK-47 or SMG gun, which is a government, this is a government gun in Kenya. That means it came from a government store or somewhere. Because if it was AK-47, I don't know whether you know the difference of guns.
No.
I'm an expert here. AK-47 looks different from an SMG. Light machine gun or LMG, whatever call it, light machine gun. It's a light machine gun that is partly the government of Kenya machines. All policemen in Kenya have those. But some now have changed to AK-47 because AK-47 is rapid. It works faster. This one, you see? But AK-47 you can put chip and, it runs. So, what do we do?
Where did Kenya get it wrong?
Doesn't this shame us?
It does, Dr. Masanga. Where did Kenya get it wrong? Because you've given us an example of Uganda and what President Museveni has done in ensuring that, cattle rustling has come to an end in that part of the country. What do you suppose Kenyans or Kenya should do, especially the Kenyan government? Because these incidences of young girls and boys carrying guns is actually no strange to us, especially in that part of Kenya, that is West Pokot and Turkana. What is it that we should do? That we are doing wrong in as far as ending cattle rustling is concerned?
What you are doing wrong is that you praise them. You buy them the stolen cows. If you go to Dagoretti Corner in the morning, you can arrest all the thieves. If you go to Eldoret, where the cows are loaded, you can arrest all the thieves. Where are the departments that are supposed to arrest them?
Doesn't this come to the doorstep of the police?
I don't know. Well, no, I'm asking for cows to be loaded on a train to come to Dagoretti Corner. For you to have got 50, 100, 200 cows. You see, they come every morning, Mr. Tawish. As we speak here, they have just arrived through AK-47. The meat in Kenya, in Sagaret Hotel, is cheaper everywhere. A kilo of meat in London is more expensive. Why is the meat in Kenya? Why do Kenyans like meat? Because it's cheap, but they eat meat where AK-47 has been used to collect the cows. You asked for it, you'll get it.
Is it not because maybe
Why are you
Kenyans rear so many cattle? That's why.
Please. We eat meat in this Sagrit hotel. The hood is stolen meat. If you go to the Goreti corner in the morning, you can arrest all the thieves who buy the meat, the cows. You know that's where the cows are dropped.
Yeah.
Get everybody to give you that Wabukala and his department and corruption and what police. Go there. Say, show us. Where did you get these cows? Where are the permits? Who issues the permit? Who is the governor? Who is the station master in Eldoret who allows stolen cows to be picked, brought for us to eat? How do these cows find themselves on the train?
How about trying to see the alternatives for these individuals as
Boss,
well,
you
Dr.
haven't, don't
I'm getting you because again,
is it hitting hard?
It's not. It is not really on my side, Dr. Masana, because I understand where you're coming from and having given us an example of what, for example, Uganda has done in bringing this to an end. But is it enough, really, for example, to go and take these guns from these people, or even ensure that maybe we block the markets? What is it that we can do for these people, alternatively, for them to move away from cattle rustling and engage in something that is meaningful other than just cattle rustling?
Out of Agenda 4, the big 4, what do the people of Sugutabali want? What do they want? We are now coming back to Agenda 4 of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Do people in Sugutabali want, do they want a house? Do they want a house? No.
It's not a priority to them.
They want a tent and a borehole. Why don't we go to the Jupiter Suguta Valley, start doing, put in the army. Our army stays in the barracks here. Apart from those who are in Somalia. The rest are having, they knock us, we knock each other in nightclubs. Okay? Some of them get permission to go out and go to the car. Why don't we take them to do some developmental issues in the Suguta Valley? Get boreholes, sink boreholes, create mini dams for animals to drink water. There's plenty of water that goes misused in the Suguta Valley.
Yeah.
Because nobody harnesses it. Why don't we do that? Where are our MPs of this area to bring such emotion? You are the MP for Tiati constituency. You are busy on the Palupo. Your place, the dispensary nearest, is 50 miles away from the other one. People are not helping President Uhuru Kenyatta on these issues. He has brought an agenda of the Big Four, implementation of the Big Four. Nobody has come to help him. Instead, they have decided. Don't you see the deputy president going to dance with these people? With sticks. He's there dancing, hugging you. But then, a few meters away, a small girl has an AK-47, hiding animals stolen.
The tragedy.
Just finish it for our people.
The tragedy of being an African in Africa.
In Africa.
Yeah, that is it.
It's
when you have people and leaders who have money to bribe voters and give out money so that they can compromise an outcome of an election, yet they cannot go and use the same money.
Do you blame
for example,
for this?
Irrigation or even empower the people in those kinds of places. It's very, very unfortunate. So, I mean, Kenyans are somehow
eat stolen meat.
Their own. Yeah.
We eat animals where people have died.
But I hope it's not us to blame.
No.
We buy.
No. Even you who is eating meat should ask.
Where is it coming from?
Yes. And for me, I'm very honest.
You mean we should stage a boycott?
Yes. That's why Bazungu are called developed country.
Yeah.
You can't go to Iraq and kill Iraqis, then bring commodity from Iraq for them to consume. They will boycott it. The whole country. They will boycott your items. Didn't Raila call for boycott of Safaricom?
He did.
And didn't Safaricom lose some money?
They did.
So why can't we call for boycott of violence?
So how do we do that? That's the question.
Why don't we call one day that we boycott a rally, any rally, where people who talk violence are going to attend?
I don't think it will be possible.
No, you citizens can stay home. They come and meet an empty podium. Why didn't you read my article this morning?
There are those few who will be bought to come.
No, didn't you read?
I did, Dr. Sanga.
And I said, except exit. If you see a politician going to wear a hat of another one he beat yesterday, walk away. Walk away.
Okay, Charity Wairimo Ngugi says, listening keenly, you have a great point of action. John Clark once more says, and who is he as he should explain what is Interior Ministry doing in those parts of the country. I think West Pokot, Samburu, and those sides of Turkana. He continues to say, Tawish, the security don't do their duties like they need to. Another one says here, all hail Biafra, Ekina, that is Ekene. Ukwak Isaac says, I love Dr. Masanga show. And what about handouts of our NYS money in Kibra? Was there handouts? That is John Clark asking that question. That was there was handouts of NYS money in Kibra by election. I don't know. Maybe Dr. Masanga can comment on that.
Whether it is NYS money or Ruto's money, the Electoral Commission should disqualify the whole election. Full stop. Nullify it. So that the people can learn. There is no need of condemning one side and we leave the mouth. This mouth, you can't beat someone and wear his hat. And we say we go hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. You can't go and carry stones. You are a whole senator. And then they parade you on NTV in the morning that I am former Senator Harwale. Stupid. No. If I were in NTV, I should not have hosted Harwale to justify his stones. He should be banned from going to any station for carrying stones, fighting. And the people watching and cheering, that behavior must stop. That behavior must stop. And let it stop. If Kenya wants peace, you must change your electoral behavior. Justice Hans Kriegler told you that if ever you do this again, it will not be a Christmas party.
Sure.
But it will be a tsunami.
Tsunami, indeed.
And we are heading there. You see women go to Eldoret. They wear their red dresses. The woman of Lyberia opens her large mouth. He hands the message to Uhuru because she's pregnant. But she didn't say who impregnated her. You remember the same woman who was stopped trying to enter a hotel that allows only married women with certificate. Whom was she bringing to the hotel? Who did not want to carry the marriage certificate?
It was in Kericho?
Yes. Don't forget easily.
Yeah, it was
Don't.
Okay, Ukwa Isaac says changing electoral commissioners every time and bringing new people won't change anything. We have to put in place early. I mean, is simply but agreeing with us exactly that we need to have this commission put in place early, or rather the commissioners. Tenny Poch Worth says viewers shouldn't criticize Dr. Masanga as a Ugandan. This great man is addressing the whole Pan-African issues. So please let's respect Punchline Africa TV and its crew.
I have not said election in Kenya only.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, where that tall Buhari of 6.2 feet, that tall one who kills the Biafrans every day, slaughters the Biafrans, kills them, tortures them, shoots them down, has sent the army in southern Nigeria to kill Biafrans. Election was nullified 2 hours before the polling station opens. Is that an election? In Malawi, the president was sworn in before even the last ballots were counted. Is that an election? In Mozambique, the Electoral Commission said, we erred. There were so many malpractices. President Nyusi was sworn in because he has the power of military and a Frelimo. Is that an election? Let's go. I'm still counting for you. Let's see. In DRC Congo, Mr. Tshisekedi was elected. The opposition, whom France had wanted, made noise. And the African Union told the people not to go there. Isn't the African Union captured?
It is.
Let's go. Bring it on in Burundi. What is happening? Nkurunziza cannot walk out of his bedroom because he fears a military coup. Tonight, it's a very good show. Don't miss it. Diplomatic leaks. I wish you were here.
I'll join from...
I wish you were here.
Through the satellite, I'll be there.
Tonight, diplomatic leaks. 8 p.m. East African Standard Time. Tawesh. It will be hot fire with facts. Facts. Well documented. I just received good documents this morning. Thank you very much, my courier. Nice documents. Kumbe, this is exactly what has happened here in the region. Don't miss that show tonight. Diplomatic leaks. It will be broadcast worldwide through SBC, CBC, worldwide on satellite from Germany. Don't miss it tonight. It's the show. If you can conquer this guy, conquer him and see. I will bring facts that will shake the East and the Central Africa plus the Horn of Africa. The tragedy of Africa is being African.
You don't want to give us a sneak preview?
No! Let me not spoil the appetite. Have your lunch, your dinner early. Just assemble.
And relax.
8 p.m. Diplomatic leaks. You know, I pick diplomatic cables here, there. Intelligence networks worldwide. Tonight, I'm going to do it. And I'm happy that President Faramijo is in town from last night, attending the United Nations conference. I have already sent you a link to watch tonight in your hotel so that you can see where we in Africa we are heading to. Tonight at 8 p.m. East African Standard Time, 7 p.m. Zimbabwe time. We shall be live from Zimbabwe, from our new correspondent in Harare.
Yes.
We shall link up. Tawish, you link up by phone from whatever angle you will be in the CBD tonight, is gonna be hot. Don't go away. Just listen to what I'm going to deliver tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Harry. But again, before we wind up, Dr. Masanga, maybe...
And I want to thank Mr. Pombe Magufuli for having watched today. I believe today you have seen that I've begun a new leaf. I've been quiet. But when you rattle me, I come back.
When you rattle the snake.
Yeah, I'm rattled.
Well, Dr. Masanga, maybe your concluding remarks in as far as our topic today is concerned as regards to violence in Kenyan elections.
First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Kenyan government for keeping security. The security situation in Kenya is improved tremendously. But the intra-violence, tribal animosity, anger amongst the people has grown each day in this administration. If you look at the Kibura elections, my dear brother, you find things that were not supposed to be, they became the reality. Mudavadi was crying about the money being poured. The Electoral Commission did not do anything. Mudavadi was crying about bribery. The Electoral Commission kept quiet. Mudavadi was crying about violence. And other people were crying about violence. The Electoral Commission watched on helplessly as people prepared to kill each other. For me, the best present that President Uhuru Kenyatta can give Kenyans from the BBI and other places is to scrap the current Electoral Commission. Let them not try to do the boundaries because they are going to bring more chaos for the president. Let them not try to conduct any further elections in this country until they are fully 100% overhauled. Perestroika in Electoral Commission won't help. We need an overhaul, what we call political fatigue evaluation of the electoral systems of Kenya that have bred violence year in, year out. Causes come from bad Faso voters registers not seen. Bad candidates are put on the ballot. Mariga should have been disqualified. You saw how Chebukati wrote a document which was written by some people, not himself. Surely he put his returning officer, the woman, the Kamba woman returning officer in chaos, an embarrassment of an institution, denying and refusing the credit to accept the responsibility that a voter who is not a voter in that area, who has purposely registered for the purpose of that area, is going to bring violence in that area. As an Electoral Commission oversight body, your role is not only to look at elections. Your role is to look at what could trigger the malpractices. One of the trigger of malpractices was Mariga. Mariga was not a candidate to be of Jubilee. He was planted to trigger violence in Kibera. So violence erupted later on. But who did trigger that violence? It was the Electoral Commission. That himself, despite not even verifying the date of birth of the candidate, they put this man on the ballot to run for an election, knowing very well that the election was going to be violent and the violence could erupt. The root cause of a violence in Kenya comes from Electoral Commission and electoral systems. If Kenya changes its electoral mechanisms, it will be one of the best examples of an African democracy. Thank you.
Very well. Thank you so much, Dr. Masanga, for that wonderful concluding remarks. And as far as our topic is concerned this morning, and indeed it's an afternoon, we've been handling Good Morning Africa. Thank you so much, everyone who's been watching and sending in your comments. We truly appreciate. We may not be in a position to read each and every of your comments, but again, we've managed to go through some of them. But as we wind up, of course, I want to remind you of this quote by Karl Marx, which says, history repeats itself. First as a tragedy, second as a farce. Where are we as a country? As we head into 2022, are we learning any lessons from past experiences in terms of violence and chaos that characterizes every election in our country? Are there things that we can do right to ensure that we bring this to an end? Those are some of the things that Kenyans need to critically think about and take action to avoid a repeat of the same in future. My name is Samuel Tausch. Thank you so much. And to Dr. David Masanga, maybe I should hand over to him to finally conclude the show.
No, you will conclude the show, but there's something we had forgotten.
Yes.
The Cameroonian people don't think we have forgotten all about you. We are aware that Paul Robert wants to hold an election in February next year. We are working out a program together with our sister station, SBSC in South Africa, in Berlin. Our station, we shall broadcast atrocities that are taking place in Cameroon. But before my thought of the day, I want to say this. As an African, and I want someone to pick this. When it rains, a lizard runs underwater to protect itself from the rain. Does this really explain what is happening in Kenyan politics today? It looks like Kenyans don't learn from the past. Justice Hans Krieger told you, Kenyans, that violence comes from elections and electoral processes. Have any electoral body been put in place 24 months before elections? No. But look at the mindset of the Kenyan people and African people. When violent men come to preach violence, we cheer them. Why not just walk away from their rallies? Mm-hmm. Good day, viewers. That is my thought of the day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Masanga.
Have you ever seen a lizard running underwater to protect itself when it is raining? Didn't you know that?
I didn't know.
Where do lizards go?
Actually, I've just learned it today.
Where do the lizards go when it starts raining? As if water is not the one coming from the rain. In actual sense, I'm telling you, blaming each other when you have actually incited violence already, and then you run underwater to say, it's not me.
It's not
but
me.
Then it is you who created the rain. Thank you very much.
I like that, Dr. Masanga. Well, a few more comments. Dudi, welcome back. Tawish and Dr. Masanga together. Thank you so much. We have Charity Wairimo says, I respect you, sir. You are talking an African problem. Why does Africa continue to discredit itself? Our children have lost mentors. I'll be there to listen. That is Charity Wairimo Ngugi. And then we have Bismarck Bura says, on that Halwale drew a huge electoral shame on the whole idea of democracy in Kenya. I think you've already responded to the Ambazonia, of course, cry over there. Thank you so much, Dr. Masanga, and the viewer, everyone who's been watching, and to all of you who have made this program a success. Until next time, and remember, like Dr. Masanga said, Diplomatic Leaks comes to you live right here from Punchline Africa TV, 8 p.m. East Africa time. Remember to tune in.
I think
and
at times we needed to put a preview.
Yeah.
Before you don't hand it over. Fred and the production team have got the clip.
Yeah.
For our viewers, don't go away now. Mm-hmm. Just put the picture there for people at 8 p.m. coming next. Yeah. At 8 p.m. East African Standard Time. Put it there for people to see.
Yeah.
That is another word. so that people know at 8 p.m. This is a story. Students in the campus, students in USIU, who study international relations, students in Nairobi University, Makerere University, Ibadan University, Harare University, Kampala University, Mogadishu University, Ethiopia. That's it. Coming next, diplomatic leaks.
Yeah.
Leave it on. We want to see it. Leave it on for some time.
Yeah.
So that people can pick. Please.
Yeah.
Diplomatic leaks coming at 8 today, 8 p.m. The trail of oil money that disturbs peace in East and the Horn of Africa. Kenya, Somalia dispute. You don't want to miss that. Tonight.
There you are.
There you are.
Okay.
Say it, man.
Yeah, so that is it. As you can see,
the trail of money, of oil. Don't miss it. I have sent President Faramijo and President Museveni links to listen. And His Excellency, of course, President Kenyatta will listen, and others tonight. And I want the British, I want the American ambassador, French ambassador, Norwegian ambassador to watch tonight as I display the best of the documents.
Okay, thank you so much, Daktari.
Thank you very much.
I think I'll be stationed somewhere doing the obvious in terms of like...
We shall be in with my sister.
All right.
My sister, you will be somewhere tonight, linking in live in the CBD.
Okay, right.
And we shall have our correspondent Mukusha, all the way from Zimbabwe by Skype. And we shall have Mr. Rutendo Timanyanyire, all the way from Johannesburg. Tonight, let's have it.
It must be a hot one. Let's wait and watch and participate in that program. As Dr. Masanga has rightly put it, the program is coming live. That is at 8 p.m. East Africa time. Remember actually to tune in and watch this program. Also participate, give your views about the same. Kenya, Somalia, of course, there's that dispute. Dr. Masanga has been talking about this, that Kenya is now resting comfortably without even thinking how, with almost a year window period again for them to sit down and see how they can talk and find a solution to this dispute. They're just relaxing and waiting until the last minute is when people will be grappling here and there with documents to see how they can handle the dispute yet again. Thanks so much everyone who's been watching and participating in this program, more so to those who have made this a success, including our technical team. Do have a lovely afternoon. Goodbye. My name is Samuel Tawish, and thank you so much, Dr. Masanga.
Thank you
for your contribution. Goodbye.